All right, next month, people all across the country are in for a special treat as the solar eclipse crosses the entire country.
Yeah, so millions of people across 15 states will see day turn to night as the moon completely covers the sun in a total solar eclipse.
Joining us here this morning is NASA expert Jamie Favors to get us prepared for this. Good morning, Jamie.
Good morning.
So first of all, what should people expect next month when this happens?
Yeah, so maybe a couple ways to think about this. Physically, what is occurring is that the moon is moving between the Earth and the sun, and very special for that total solar eclipse. Everything aligns just right so that the moon will actually fully obstruct the surface of the sun. So then you actually start to see the outer atmosphere or the corona of the sun. So those people along totality will see a part of the sun that you can't normally see otherwise.
Cool. And of course, we've been told to never look directly at the sun, of course, but just remind our viewers, how they can safely view the solar eclipse.
Yeah, absolutely. Safety first, right? But so during the eclipse, the most direct and safest way to be able to observe the eclipse is using those solar viewing glasses or your eclipse glasses, making sure you bought them from that reputable source so you can trust them. And there's also indirect ways to be able to observe the solar eclipse. The first way is actually you can just use your hands and create a pin view of the eclipse. If you kind of waffle your fingers together, those holes, and if you have the sun behind you, you actually get that effect on the ground just below you to be able to see the outline of the eclipse. The same thing can actually happen if you stand underneath a tree, and as the light moves between those leaves, you'll see that same pinwheel effect on the ground to be able to observe the sun and the eclipse that way as well.
So I remember this same thing happening back in 2017. Everybody caught out of work. People put their kids out of school to see this. What can we expect? Anything different next month compared to the one, I think it was 2017?
Yeah, so it'll be similar, but it actually will be pretty different. Like the simplest way to say this is it'll be more of an eclipse, more in the sense that more people will actually see this eclipse in the U.S., about 31 million people along that pathway of totality. More too in the fact that this eclipse will actually last longer. So those people right along the center line will experience 2 more minutes of totality, almost 5 total minutes of darkness during the solar eclipse, a very long time to be able to experience this. The other more is that right now we're moving into what we call solar maximum. And really what we mean by that is that the sun is more active, more of those eruptive events, solar flares, coronal mass ejections. Why that is interesting and important for this eclipse is that we may actually, as you see the outer atmosphere of the sun, start to see the fingerprints of those eruptive events on the sun actually in the atmosphere. So that the structure of the atmosphere will be really dynamic and probably very beautiful to look at.
All right, well, any other ways our viewers can get involved with solar science during the total solar eclipse?
Sure thing. So that's, this is a pretty special day to be able to observe the sun, but also, be a NASA scientist basically for the day. A big part of being a scientist is collecting data. And there's a lot of different apps that we have out there where you can participate and collect the data for yourself, the different ways you're observing and experience the eclipse. One in particular that I'll mention is called Globe. Through that app and that smartphone application, you can actually be tracking the temperature. A big thing you'll experience during the eclipse for anybody, not just those in totality, is a big temperature change through the period of the eclipse. Through that app, you can track and collect those data that can help then scientists and everyone else be able to answer questions with those data to give us a better understanding of what occurs during an eclipse.
And really quickly, I know you referenced the data. What specifically will scientists be looking for as far as data when this happens?
Sure. So there's a lot of different aspects. However, there's a couple of different science experiments NASA will be running. The first one is we're going to use some of our high altitude aircraft to fly along that pathway of totality and make direct measurements or remote sensing data of the sun and that outer atmosphere. So that's one experiment we're going to be running. The other one is we're actually going to be launching rockets during the eclipse. So sounding rockets will be launching from Virginia roughly 30 minutes before the peak eclipse, right in the middle of the peak eclipse, and then 30 minutes after, to measure in the upper atmosphere the changes that are occurring during that eclipse.
Wow, really fascinating. It's going to be a cool experience, of course. Thank you so much for speaking with us this morning.
Thank you.